This tutorial is about M folds. In essence, M folds, it's a V fold, and the tabs that glue the V fold to the page then have other V folds glued into them. This design is based on an acute angle V fold, which is covered in tutorial 2. This is based on a asymmetric V fold, which is covered in tutorial 4. And so here's the asymmetric V fold, and then it just has acute angle V folds built into the gullies. The difference is, apart from one being asymmetric and the other symmetric, in this case all the tabs are behind the model. In this one there's just 2 tabs which come forward in front of the model. And it's all just a question of design. Mechanically it doesn't matter which you do. In this example, this just shows you what you can start doing. You can turn the M fold generates a whole series of planes. There's 6 planes, but there's also a whole array of gullies as well. And the gullies, you can add counterfolds to them like this. You can cut them and push pieces through. So you can use those mountain folds and gullies to create a whole lot of more planes that you can then play around with. This is this is made with an M fold. It's just a straightforward M fold. The tabs that glue it down have been put behind it so they don't mess up the design. This is an M fold being used to raise a plane. So this is actually a parallel fold. It's a curved fold. All the clouds are made with an M fold. So we take a base sheet, fold it in half, crease it well, and take half a sheet and fold it in half. So just fold it in half, crease it really thoroughly. And what we're making here is a basic V fold, as we looked at in tutorial 2, but with the difference that instead of just starting near the bottom corner and making 2 small gluing tabs, we're going to start about 1/3 of the way up. So this is the first crease, start about 1/3 of the way up, and you have a crease coming up towards the outer edges. And it doesn't really matter what angle you do. The different angles will give you different shapes. So if you want a specific shape, just play around with it till you find the angle that you want. So here it is, open it up. The creases all make a big downward pointing arrow. There's the creases there. Now fold it in half and just cut a wedge. Where all the creases meet, just cut a wedge out of that. So now you have this shape. So now just fold up one side and you're going to add another crease. So here's your initial fold. Now you're coming up like this. Mustn't start here at this point. It's got to be somewhere along this fold line. So say 1/3 of the way and then fold it up. This fold, it has to be leaning away. So here's your first fold, the sort of spine one, and then it has to be leaning away. If it leans inward that way, it won't work. And then fold that back on itself. That's one side. Now we'll do the other side. Fold it up. It doesn't have to be the same angle. You can play around with it as long as the angle of the fold is leaning away from the center. So we fold that up, crease it well, fold it back on itself. Right, now open it all flat. So here it is. Now you concertina it. So start with the middle, fold that into a mountain fold. And the next fold is going to be a valley, and the next one a mountain, the next one a valley, so you can concertina it. And the same on the other side, starting with the mountain fold in the middle, next one's a valley, next one's a mountain, next one's a valley. You just pinch it all well. Now you can open it up. Now this is going to stick down something like this. You've got to have this central crease lined up with the central gully. The whole thing, as it closes, it's going to fold forward. So decide where you want it on the page. You can have it right up at the back if you want, depending on your design, or you can have it quite near the front. You can also have it really tight, so you've got a really narrow ridge in the middle, or you can go wide. The wider you go, the more it'll lie down. And then these are the mountain folds with the gullies behind them that you can play with. So we might just experiment with that before we stick it down. So say take the top one, we'll just turn that into a counterfold. So we fold that. That will then push back in. So now we've generated 2 more planes that we'll be able to play with. We could do the same for these next 2. We can just fold them over. You have to do this before you stick it down. It's much easier. So there we are. Now I've got 2 more planes. And we can do the same here. You can make these folds at any angle. It really doesn't matter. And it all just depends what shape you're trying to end up with. So we could just leave it at that. And now to glue it down, you decide first of all what angle you want it, how tight, how much you want it standing up, how much you want it lying down. I'm going to go for something like this. So these first 2 creases there, it's about 45 degrees to the spine. And so put glue all over one side and just glue it down like that. Now you fold it shut, put glue on the other one, and then you fold that shut, fold the whole base shut so it finds its natural sticking position. Press it really firmly to make sure the gluing is sound. Open it up and there's your M fold. I'll just run through a few examples in commercial books. So this is Where the Wild Pirates Go Sailing. This, if you look, you'll see there's the main V fold, and then it has little counterfolds here that are the M fold, and it's got additional tentacles stuck onto those. So in this case, the outer pieces are being used as the muscle to lift larger pieces of card. This one is actually, it's not an M fold. These are extra little pieces stuck in. They're pointing outwards, whereas on this one, the M fold, the angles are pointing inwards. This one is an M fold, so here it is. This is the main V fold here, and then this is a V fold on one side. And on this side, it's another V, but it's got an additional piece of card stuck on. The next one is the Museum of Unnatural History by Keith Mobic. And here we have, there's a whole array. This is a whole series of M folds giving you the legs of the spider. And I think there's another one near the end. Yeah. This figure here, the structure that it's all built on is an M fold. So you've got the main body with the shoulders, that's the original V fold. And you've got an M fold here lifting up this arm. You've got another M fold here lifting up this arm. And it's got a whole series of complicated bits and pieces. This is a curved shape, this is a parallel fold, all lifting up the other bits and pieces of this design. So the next one is the Nutcracker by Nick Denchfield, and it has this extraordinary spread at the back. Here you've got the main body of it is an M fold, and then this is a box at the back. This is tutorial 14. This is a floating plane here, which is tutorial 12. But the bulk of it is this. This is the main V fold in the middle, and then you've got these M fold wings out on each side. And the last one is Alice in Wonderland with Paper Engineering by Andy Mansfield. And get ready, this one is really loud when you open it up. So and finally, all M folds, all their variations and varieties are explained in this, my book, Pop-Up Design and Paper Mechanics.